the American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all men have a right to equal justice under law and equal opportunity to share in the common good. We believe that all men have the right to freedom of thought and expression. We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God. From this faith, we will not be moved.
Hello, God bless America, and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Freedom of Thought is available on all your favorite podcasting apps. Thank you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. It's another campfire episode here as we head into Memorial Day, or should I say Labor Day weekend. It is it's after 9 p.m. on Sunday night leading into Labor Day. So happy Labor Day to everybody. And I figured, well, now is a great time to, now that I'm alone in front of the fire, a campfire episode outside. Kind of a fun way to do the episode sometimes, and figured the audio seemed to turn out pretty good last time around, a few months back. Do another campfire episode, campfire conversation about the absolutely radical, psychotic speech done by this false president, Joe Biden. And how creepy was it having all that red light around him in Philadelphia as he gave the speech and literally declared war on what he described as MAGA Republicans. I have the transcript ready to go here, and I'd been watching the speech a bit to kind of get more, to kind of freshen my mind a bit. I'd been hearing, this, hearing that, but it's like, obviously you got to watch it. And the main theme of what it was is this false president, this illegitimately elected president who insists that 81 million Americans voted for him, and made sure that he reminded us about that in his speech, declared war on quite a few people that voted for Donald Trump, and he considers MAGA Republicans and all that. Well, obviously, yeah, make America great again. Oh, it's so evil. How evil could it get? But the transcript, New York Times, okay, fine, it's New York Times, but at least let's look at the transcript and how he gets right into it. Basically, not too long into the speech, about 2 minutes, and he goes on for a good maybe 10 minutes plus about the threats to democracy, the threats to this country and everything. And, did Donald Trump ever do that? Did Donald Trump ever do that? Has any other president ever done that? And there are media members, national media members, columnists and such, saying that Joe Biden had to give that speech. Absolutely had to. He literally had to declare war on people that vote for Donald Trump. That's pretty crazy. Do you think that's okay? I just somehow don't understand how that could possibly be okay. So as we get into the crazy part here, so tonight, this is Biden. I'll just call him Biden. I'm not going to use the word president in Biden, in a respectful way. Maybe it would be with a small p and a small b. I won't even capitalize the name there. That's how little respect I have for him, especially after this, but even before. So tonight, I've come to this place where it all began. Okay, that's not where I want to go. Let's see, where does it get? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, because he just kind of went on and on about, we got through the Civil War and the Great Depression and World War and blah, 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 and great stuff. It's wonderful. Okay, but first we must be honest with each other and with ourselves. Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Yeah, I agree. Take a look at yourself, buddy. Take a look at yourself and take a look at what the true threat to society did to this country during the George Floyd riots and all that. Was that normal? Was that not a threat to this country? Other than maybe a couple of lunatics on January 6th versus bajillions more that didn't do anything wrong that day? You declare war on them? It's just disgusting. And the 5 deaths weren't even related to anything. And of course, one of them was a quote-unquote MAGA Republican getting shot, an unarmed MAGA Republican getting shot by a security guard in the White House. So, yeah, just absolutely crazy. So, again, now that I've got that out of the way, too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, did Donald Trump ever talk about Obama and all those crazy people, what they've done, what they were doing to this country, all those crazy riots and such that were going on during the Obama administration that he basically encouraged? He basically did. Extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Just think about that. It's amazing he even said republic. Thank you for at least acknowledging that part, Mr. Biden. Now I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know because of blah, blah. Yeah, those are all the rhinos. That's the rhinos. And again, there aren't as many rhinos as there used to be. But unfortunately, the ones in office, in a lot of ways, are rhinos. And that's an extreme frustration. And they're legitimate rhinos. Well before there was even a Donald Trump, the word rhino was very much out there. And most of you know what that means. For those of you that don't, Republican in name only. Biden continues saying, but there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country. Really? Like just having an opinion and supporting Make America Great Again policies is a threat to this country? A way the heck better economy than what you're offering is a threat to this country? Having the Keystone Pipeline running is a threat to this country? Having peaceful conversations with North Korea is a threat to this country? Oh no, he just went there for a photo shot. What do they call that? Like a photo shoot or whatever the heck they called it at the time. I mean, no matter what Trump did, the Democrats on Twitter or wherever the heck else, just in the media, would just say, oh yeah, he just went there for this, or photo op. That's what the word was. Biden continues on and on. These are hard things, but I'm an American president, not a president of red America or blue America. No, you're a president of blue America. Yeah, he says about all of America. No. He says that he's leveling with us and such about how terrible we are, basically. And here, in my view, is what is true. MAGA Republicans do not represent the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. How about you? Do you believe in the rule of law? Especially when you said, well, SOB, this guy got fired. Do you remember that? Was that legal? Was that, has everything been perfectly hunky-dory and honest with you, with the rule of law? You and a lot of your other people, like Nancy Pelosi and such? Have you been honest? Have you respected the rule of law? Sorry, I've been adjusting the fire here. This big piece of birch here is kind of, yeah, it's a big boy. It's a big boy. Don't want to choke out that piece there. Sorry. Yeah. Unbelievable. I don't think they've cooperated with the rule of law. I mean, there's just endless evidence about all of that, the dishonesty. Crooked. I mean, you could just go on and do your own research about most of that. Again, this probably won't be too long, but who knows? And again, I probably have to split this up into segments because of the file size and such. Can be a pain in the butt at times, but well, I guess it's easier now than it used to be. There's ways to do it. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They don't? We don't recognize the will of the people? Okay. They refuse to accept the results of a free election? Yeah, you don't think it was a little suspicious? I don't think it's tinfoil hat. I don't think it's a tinfoil hat point of view to think that the election of 2020 was at least a little suspicious. You don't think so? But of course he's going to say that because it's gaslighting. They want to dismiss you on the spot because, well, that way they'll win easily and they'll get away with it. That's just that simple. That's what gaslighting is all about. Isn't it though? They're working right now as I speak in state after state to give power to decide elections in America to partisans and cronies, empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But, and that's pretty much how he was saying it. MAGA forces, he just keeps going and going and going. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to marry who you love. They promote authoritarian leaders. Do we, though? Do we? Take a look at yourself again, Mr. Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Was that not authoritarian? Trying to mandate vaccines to everybody? And again, that's Trump's biggest weakness, ultimately, is not going against the vaccine itself. Just basically, dancing on, doing a victory dance of the fact that the whole, what do they call it, Operation Warp Speed took place. Trump disagrees with mandates, and, well, anybody should, because that's authoritarian. You're the authoritarian leader, Mr. Biden, along with a lot of your, a lot of your other members of your party, the Democrat Party in general. I would say that's pretty authoritarian. I think it's authoritarian. I think so. Okay, yep. This is a joke. And they fanned the flames of political violence that are a threat to our personal rights, to the pursuit of justice, to the rule of law, to the very soul of this country. That's almost too easy. Do I have to go back again to the 2020 riots, the George Floyd riots? I mean, do I have to? And everything that took place a year later around here in the Brooklyn Center and such? That is no way to solve anything. No matter how you feel about how a police officer handled this or handled that. You are fanning the flames of political violence that are a threat to our personal rights, to the pursuit of justice, to the rule of law, to the very soul of this country. You are literally describing those very people, and you're pinning it on MAGA Republicans, as you call them. I mean, that's the pot calling the kettle black, my friend. My friend, you'll never be my friend, Joe, unless you completely change overnight. And only God can do that at this point, I think. Only God can save the soul of some of these people. Only God can do it. Yep, it's unbelievable. Well, and quite frankly, I hope he does. It would be nice. That'd be a good day, because things would change quickly, I think. A lot of people would be, a lot of people would change. Well, maybe not a lot, but some. Some people would. And some is better than zero. Oh, boy. It continues. Yep, well, I won't drag this out too much longer, but it's, boy, I mean, if this isn't material, I don't know what is. They look at the mob that stormed the United States Capitol on Jan 6th, brutally attacking law enforcement. They did? Evidence proves otherwise, that a lot of this wasn't even true. In fact, like the quote-unquote law enforcement again shot Miss Barrett dead. Unarmed. She was unarmed. Where are the riots? There weren't any. There weren't any riots. And I know, breaking in was not worth it. It wasn't worth it. Would I have done it? No. No, I would not break into the White House. No, I would not have done that. They shouldn't have done it. It wasn't worth it. But at the same time, to just shoot him dead like that, it's just crazy. Unarmed person, shoot him dead. It's crazy town. And I got to think okay, I'll just leave it alone. You can fill in the blank there. Brutally attacking law enforcement, not as insurrectionists who placed a dagger at the throat of our democracy, but they look at them as patriots, and they see their mega failure. Mega failure, huh? Did it fail? Wasn't the economy a hell of a lot better before all this COVID bullcrap? Yeah, it was way, way beyond better. Way better. To stop peaceful transfer of power after the 2020 election as a preparation for 22 and 24 elections. They tried everything last time to nullify the votes of 81 million people. Well, evidence would show there weren't 81 million people that voted for Joe Biden. In fact, it's just impossible. It's impossible. Frickin' possible that 81 million people voted for Biden. And the best part is, it was actually record numbers voted for any president ever if you just counted Trump's votes. Just Trump's votes. Just Trump's. So somehow Biden like annihilated that? I don't think so. I don't think so when you consider actually that there's no chance that this president this false president that couldn't even draw like a couple people basically, and most of his rallies, so to speak, and still can't, would actually outdo Barack freaking Obama. As bad as Obama was, he was so super popular with the Democrats and the anti-Bush crowd at the time back in '08. Pardon me, that was noisy. This time they're determined to succeed in thwarting the will of the people. That's why respected conservatives like federal judge, so it's called Trump. Judge Michael Luttig. It's called Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans are clear and present danger to our democracy. It just keeps going on and on and on. This is insanity, just at its root, when you consider how far he's going and how long he is just continuing to go against what is the opposition. Because, well, the fact of the matter is, this opposition is a massive threat to their psychotic agenda. That's all this really is. That's what this is all about. And if you can't see that, I think you're crazy. Please forgive me if the audio sucks. I hope you can hear me pretty well. Again, last time it seemed to turn out pretty well. I hope my hand didn't get in the way and ruin the microphone here. I apologize if it did. So, with that said, that's not even everything. It continues. MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger. Are you sure, though? They thrive in chaos. Do I have to go back to June 2020? Do I have to go back to June 2020? They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies. Do I have to go back to everything, basically? The shadow of lies, huh? Kind of like your whole freaking election to begin with. The fact you're even in the office. But together, we can choose a different path. We can choose a better path to the future. A future of possibility. A future to build a dream and hope. And we're on the path moving ahead. Okay, Mr. Snake in the Garden of Eden. That's basically what that sounds like. The fruit is just you're denying the knowledge. God doesn't want you to know. He's denying you knowledge of good and evil. He wants you to know what's really going on. He doesn't want you to know, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. He's denying it. Yes. So it could just go on and on and on forever. Still going as I jump ahead, because I'm jumping ahead, skipping some of this. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And yes, I did listen to it, but it's just seeing it in text afterward. You're blown away. MAGA Republicans are destroying American democracy. Again, because your form of democracy is dishonest. I mean, if you call that democracy, I don't know. It's kind of almost like Saddam Hussein, where everybody would vote everybody would vote in the other direction, but Saddam Hussein wins like 97%, right? Because, well, if you don't vote for Saddam Hussein, well, guess what? You're going to get thrown in jail or killed. And, in any type of communist or authoritarian or totalitarian leader would do. Another part here. MAGA Republicans look at America and see carnage and darkness and despair. They spread fear and lies told for profit and power. Well, son of a bitch, that guy got fired. I could keep going. It just goes on forever. And, I feel like I'm just repeating myself because, well, he's repeating it too. Charlottesville. Yep, you're seeing Charlottesville, gun violence and incredible. The darkness of Charlottesville, which again was, I think, your group of people that were out there, doing exactly what you described, that Trump supporters support. So I don't know. I'm sorry, but that's insanity. Let's see if I don't think there's much of a mailbag from the last show. In fact, it's been downright quiet, unfortunately. I don't know if I'm being shadow banned or just Mark Carlson, people like that have been real busy. I'm going to try to jump into it. I'm in the wrong page. I apologize. Freedom of Thought, Facebook.com. Just look that up. Freedom of Thought 1776, and on Twitter at Freedom of Thou 76. That's how it fits. And then there's a Gettr account. I left the link in the show description as well. I was saying the student loan bullcrap should be the final nail in the coffin for the Democrat Party. Unfortunately, there are so many idiots out there that think this is such a great thing. It's suicide. Yep, that's another thing I could go on forever about. The whole student loan forgiveness nonsense. Basically, literally forcing hardworking taxpayers to pay for people that don't want to pay their bill, and they made an agreement. They made an agreement to pay their bill, and now like, oh, hell with that. Why would we do that? You know, that's kind of the attitude there. So, I mean, it's, I don't know. I just don't know, man. Sorry, I'm trying to move this thing. I don't know how anybody can look at that and take it seriously. It's like, are you kidding me? You really think we should have to pay for that? And it's hundreds of billions with a B. Might even be, it's just under a T, trillion. There we go. Now we got it up. It's kind of like turning the steak over here. It's a huge piece of wood here. I apologize. Yeah, there was another one. Someone asked me if I had plans for the fall. It took me a moment to realize they meant autumn, not the collapse of civilization. Yeah, that's what it feels like. But Mr. Biden will tell you that that's MAGA Republicans that are the fall of civilization. I don't think so. I was saying, just who's the cult member? People who support Trump or people who have to wear a mask forever and ever? I think it's people that have to wear a mask forever and ever. And I saw that today at the Vietnamese restaurant I go to. Again, a couple, like probably live together. I don't know if they're married. Hopefully they're married. But that's just the way I see the world. I hope that people are married rather than just living together. That they're wearing a mask at the table to eat. They start eating. Right when they finish, boom, the masks go right back on as they're sitting at the table. It's just like, it's too much. I'm sorry, it's too freaking much. I can't stand it anymore. Another one. When was the last episode? I think I talked about this lady already. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did on the last episode. The woman is pure evil. Yeah, Catherine Stewart. Yeah, she's nuts. Christian nationalists are a threat to democracy. Yeah, I don't know. They're saying, remember her name, Catherine Stewart. So that's somebody to, quote unquote, that's somebody to boycott and such. It's absolutely crazy. And I don't know. It's something that's impossible to respect. No doubt about it. But again, no new posts. So there's really no mailbag. It was just kind of catching up with the news and such. So that's just kind of how things are going right now. I think that should about wrap it up. I might as well just say happy Labor Day. Why did this thing just die? I can't believe it died, but hey, that's how it's going, right? That's the kind of fire it's been, I guess, off and on tonight. But I'm really hoping you have a wonderful Labor Day weekend again, and it's wonderful how locally here in the Twin Cities it's been cooling down a little bit. I think it's because of this, there's a hurricane way out in the Atlantic Ocean, and when it's like way east of here, you actually get cooler air, and once it comes closer to like, Florida and such, like when a hurricane type of, a tropical storm comes closer to Florida, the humidity and the heat goes way up. But when it's way out east, we get the north side of the swirl, so to speak. And it's actually quite nice, honestly. And that storm is probably not going to hurt anybody because it's way east. And by the time it kind of heads towards Europe, it'll be just kind of like rain and wind, maybe. That's about it. It's not going to be anything super bad. So I'm not wallowing in somebody else's awful fortune. Like Irma, we had some wonderful weather here when Irma was way out there, but unfortunately it was doing tons of damage in the Caribbean at the time. So, I mean, I can't really celebrate wonderful weather when such horrible things were going on to other people with like a basically Category 6 level hurricane. So there I go babbling off into something else, but I guess that's why we call it freedom of thought. But that's where we're at. Your president, the president that we didn't vote for, has declared war, literally war, on those of us that would be considered a MAGA conservative or MAGA Republican. And that's extremely scary, extremely frightening for all of us. So with that said, again, the worst thing we can do is submit to violence. It's the worst thing we can do, or calls for violence, or like we need to do this, we need to do that. That's the last thing we want. So I strongly disagree with anybody that would hope for that. And of course, again, that's literally letting them win if you do that. And anybody that was violent or acting crazy on January 6th, just, that wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. But it was such a small amount of people to basically label all of us that way is truly stupid, considering there was literally mobs, and I mean mobs and mobs and mobs and mobs and mobs of people, multitudes of people in June, July, all the way up into August during the year 2020, when there was supposedly a pandemic going on, supposedly, right? Tearing down everything, all the way to Ulysses S. Grant. Not only statues of, say, like a Thomas Jefferson, like started with Robert E. Lee. Okay, fine. He was the general of the Confederate Army who actually secretly was against slavery. He was actually against it. That's a fact. That's a fact. He was actually against it, but he joined the Confederate Army only because of where he was from. It was just a kind of like a loyalty thing because he lived there. Whoa, something scary freaked me out there. And then, yep, so that was the first one that went down. Of course, somebody was badly injured as that one came down, if I remember correctly. It was either that one or the Thomas Jefferson one. Somebody was injured really bad. The thing hit the person in the head. A big, huge metal statue hit someone in the head. That was real smart, causing what I believe was a fatal injury, actually. It became fatal over time, so very depressing. But starting with that one, leading into George Washington, of all people, like I couldn't believe it. And then Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant. It makes no sense. No sense. The true first civil rights president was Ulysses S. Grant. Abe Lincoln literally gave his life literally gave his life, with the whole Emancipation Proclamation, but ultimately ending slavery after that and such, literally gave his life. I guess that wasn't enough, so they got to tear down that statue and start it on fire as well. It's just, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just open your eyes, wake up. Anybody that would disagree with the MAGA, with quote unquote MAGA Republicans and think they're the violent ones and are crazy, just open your eyes and see the truth. That's pretty much all you have to do at this stage. With that said, I'm gonna call it a show. Wishing all of you again a wonderful Labor Day, and as we head into the fall and football season and this and that, hopefully less and less protests take place on the football field, and more Americana can take over as we head closer and closer to the 2022 elections. I'll try my best to keep up with things and get back on the air more and more often. Maybe some more campfire talk, which actually sometimes is the best of all. With that said, take care, and God bless the United States of America.